Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is your boy CIZZY back at it again with another episode of the Voices of Value podcast. And like I say every single week, we coming back with another fire guest. And today I've done it again. We got Mr. Mike Evans, founder of Alibi Cookies, based out of the STL, out of the Lou. Show me state, baby. Say what's up to the people, my guy.
What's going on? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing?
I love it, man. I love it. Thank you so much for making time to jump on the Voices of Value podcast today to talk a little bit about your journey and just share your story. So I appreciate you making time. I know you're busy. You're at the store right now, correct?
Yeah, baking cookies.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, let's jump right into it, my brother. Where did you grow up? Where are you from? Talk to us a little bit about your childhood and give us
Yeah.
kind of a little bit of a origin story for the listeners out there who don't know you.
Originally from Normandy, Missouri. Grew up in the county. Then moved to North St. Louis. Then went to school in the city. Um, Grew up Penrose Park neighborhood, Natural Bridge Kings Highway. Famous Nelly song, of course.
If they know, they
um,
know.
Right. They know. And from there, just just like any other inner city kid, just pushing my way through the city and the school systems, and eventually going to I went to Triple C, which was Construction Career Center Charter High School downtown. I guess that was kind of my way of kind of getting out of the immediate school system, I guess, but still was a public school, open to anybody. They were just kind of selective who they chose to in there. Um, from that, I just kind of just start working and grinding and just developing all the experience I guess I needed to get to where I am today. Don't have a major university degree or anything like that. I found that school is not for everybody, and clearly a nice expensive piece of paper on the wall didn't get me what I have today. So in a
That's
nutshell,
right.
that's my upbringing, and that's the story of how I guess Michael Evans came to be Mike Evans.
I love it. Well, I want to double down on that a little bit. So, for some of those that don't know, both the Kansas City where I'm at and the St. Louis school districts haven't been the best over the past 10,
Yeah.
15 years. So, would you mind kind of touching on the educational system in St. Louis and maybe what some of the challenges are or have been and kind of what that was like for you as a teenager 14 through 18 trying to navigate your education and navigate where you wanted to lead your life once you exited high school. Could you kind of double down on that a little bit just for those who aren't aware of the
Yeah, sure.
situation in St. Louis?
Well, it starts with low pay for the teachers. Teachers never get paid enough. And I mean, your passion for something only goes so far if you can't afford to pay your bills. Um, that's always first and foremost. We got to pay the people that are shaping our young minds to grow up to do great things. And if they're not being paid, compensated for their time and their efforts, then you start to lose your passion for it, and you start to not care anymore. And it's a lot of teachers uh, do that. I was kind of fortunate in elementary school when I was in Normandy. And it's the same for every school district you're in, no matter if it's Kansas City School District, St. Louis Public School District. It's the same. You do have teachers that care, that legit care, but it's only so much they can spend their own money with school supplies and clothes and hygiene products for students and stuff like that. A lot of that begins at home. Uh, and I was fortunate to have parents that cared. Um, I wasn't poor, but by no means we wasn't rich either. Um, I took full advantage of getting school supplies from the drives and the teachers that gave us pencils and pens and markers and crayons and all that kind of stuff. Um, the city school districts are rough. That being Kansas City, St. Louis public schools. I believe that spending the money in the correct places on school supplies and books and things like that, and paying the teachers more will contribute to more people like me. I'd say, they kind of grow up and start their own business and do their own thing. Um, it's I'm not gonna say it's horrible and it's bad, but there's definitely a lot that can be done different in the school districts. Again,
Love it.
the major thing is paying the teachers. I want 1% support that 1%. Raise my taxes, pay teachers more.
I 100% agree. I think people often underestimate the power of incentivizing individuals to commit to something they like. I mean, it's like anything. You know, somebody playing basketball might be obsessed with basketball, but nobody's going to play basketball till they're 44 if they're only getting paid 10K a year. They're going to figure out something else to do. Even it
Yeah,
doesn't matter how much they love sports, doesn't matter how much they love cookies, doesn't matter how much they love personal training in my world. If you're not making enough money, it only is going to last so long. So I respect that. You mentioned you know, there's definitely some teachers that care, that look out for the students and become sources of motivation or inspiration or mentors, I guess you could say, for some students. But for, you know, outside of some of the teachers you may have appreciated, who were some other individuals that you looked up to when you were a young man? Like, who inspired you? Who kind of led a life that you were interested in following in their path or their footsteps, or kind of left some breadcrumbs of education or leadership for a young man like Mike, to turn into who you've become today? Who were some people you looked up to?
well, my mom, she was a chef. She died in 2017. And so I guess, you know, that's where I got my cooking aspirations from. Know my way around the kitchen pretty well. My dad was a DJ, a very well-known DJ here in St. Louis. They call him the Godfather. He owned a few nightclubs, bars, and you know, other things, you know, in the St. Louis area. So I grew up around music and I grew up around cooking. Um, you know, from the DJ aspect, following in my dad's footsteps, starting my own DJ company and DJing at, you know, some of the biggest nightclubs in St. Louis, and you know, doing that, and you know, breaking that off into more entertainment, doing weddings and getting the party bus and that kind of stuff. And again, for my mom, going into being an executive chef and director of food and beverage for a hotel chain, and you know, and then a restaurant chain as well. And so I guess, you know, my mom and dad were really, you know, instrumental in me going down this path that I'm on now. Um, but you know, a teacher that come to mind, I was in middle school, I went to Langston Middle. Her name was Stephanie Blue, Miss Blue, like Blue, Blue. Um, very, very, very down to earth teacher, very into the students. She actually cared. You know, I will forever remember her. I'm not quite sure where she is. I tried looking her up on Facebook, and I couldn't really find anything. But let's just name one teacher that was, you know, instrumental and, you know, just believing in me. And she didn't give up. And, you know, I wasn't the easiest student, but I wasn't the worst either, you know? But she's someone that didn't give up. And, you know, my parents never gave up on me when I decided to make some decisions on my own, and they supported me, and came to my rescue when I needed help. I've had, you know, aunts and uncles as well that's definitely been on my side to help me out. My auntie Dale, she lives in Oklahoma City now. When my dad and mom separated, um, when my mom, of course, we were bouncing around a little bit, went to stay with my aunt, and you know, and then, you know, I wound up just staying with my aunt, to be honest, and she definitely looked out for me. My uncle, we call him Bino, but you know, my my uncle Ernest, you know, and my uncle Keith, you know, those are all men in my life that definitely have looked out for me and been there for me. That I'm forever grateful, you know, for those people. So a lot of people kind of close to the chest. Um, I didn't like reach out uh, to a lot of strangers. I say would I observed a lot of strangers and their activities that I kind of just like kind of took and ran with it. Um, but you know, more so, you know, my mom and dad putting that in my mind that, you know, my dad's never really had a 9 to 5 job ever. He's always owned his, he's a master electrician. He has his own construction company. He was a DJ. He's always worked for himself.
Wow.
And so that's in me, man. You know, I quit my job in 2020, January 2020, and I haven't had a job in 3 years now. Um, so it's 2 years, but it's something. It's all those little small little seeds, I guess people
Yeah,
got planted,
exactly.
and that's I'm a product of that now.
I like to say, I've been hearing a lot of people say it lately. So now I like to say, it's not on me, it's in me. You know, like
Yep.
certain things, it's not just an external, it's an internal thing. Seeds planted inside of you that just took however long they needed to be nurtured, watered
Mhm.
each and every day in whatever way that might have been for it to kind of like spring from its roots and turn into what it is today. So you mentioned, on your mother's side, food, on your father's side, music. Food and music have such deep cultural roots, not only to Black culture, but just to culture in general across the globe. Like whatever and wherever you go, you will find so much information about a people, like a sect of people, a group of people based off of the food that they eat and based off
Mhm.
the music that they consume. So talk a little bit about the culture of St. Louis from a food perspective first, and then from a music perspective. Everyone knows Nelly, but what other influences influenced you or might be a source of conversation amongst other, St. Louis citizens, like artists that you guys really respect, music that you guys really respect, and then also on the food side, like what's well known in St. Louis for food that outside of your mother also influenced your taste in food and sweets, like we see behind you with some
Yeah.
cookies.
Well, so I guess we start with food. I mean, St. Louis is known for the barbecue. And and we used to have a ton of barbecue places back in the day, and we just don't have as many anymore. I mean, you say, Happy's is super well known, they do barbecue good. There used to be this place in Normandy called Reynolds Barbecue. Closed down now, but I mean, they just well known for just barbecue. Outside of that, St. Louis really doesn't have a really food scene. It's not, everyone kind of does their own thing. Every restaurant's different. You'll have, a string of restaurants like I'm here in St. Charles right now on Main Street, and there are probably 12, 13 restaurants, and everyone does their own thing. Um, you go to some place, like, Italy, again, Italian food and things like that. You're known, for things. You come to St. Louis, we got barbecue and St. Louis style pizza. But outside of
Chinese
that,
takeout.
the best in the world, of course. The best in the world, man. I go to other places when I travel. I'm just like, never again. Can't do it. It ain't dark enough.
It's real. It's real. It's really real.
Yeah.
I thought that was a joke when people used to tell me growing up. But then as I got older and I pulled up to St. Louis a few times for some Chinese takeout, I was like, oh, this shit's
Uh-huh.
serious.
It is serious, man. When people fight, man, over St. Louis takeout, it's a serious deal, man. I won't eat rice that don't look right. It ain't dark enough. I can't have it. I might as well eat steamed rice.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. Can't eat it if it don't look right. I love it. What about
Right,
what about
right.
music, man? We hear a lot about Nelly, of course, when we think
Yeah.
about, my audience is definitely primarily Kansas City, so people are definitely familiar
Mhm.
with that. But who are some other cultural influences, whether it could be, I don't know, jazz, it could be blues, it
Yeah.
could be rap, hip hop, R&B, I don't care. But when you think about music from the time you were growing up, who were some strong influences on you? What were you playing a lot at weddings? What were you playing a lot at the biggest clubs while you were DJing?
Well, I mean, DJing wasn't so far ago. I still DJ every other Friday at Oz nightclub, which is the biggest nightclub in St. Louis. Um,
Let's go.
it is. So I still do that. But I mean, kind of growing up, I mean, I grew up in the 2000s. So, I listened to a lot of 2000s music, and that was, as far as St. Louis native, Nelly and the St. Lunatics was, that's who you listen to. That was it. As far as artists that have made it out of St. Louis, the biggest names, you talk about those too. Um, I mean, now I deal with a guy, his name is Frost Money, and he owns a company called Frost Money Presents. And he does a lot of showcase, a lot of local artists. And it's just amazing that the talent that's in St. Louis now. But still, we still are having trouble getting artists to like break out of St. Louis. It's like Nelly, Murphy Lee, Chingy, Jaquan, those guys have busted out, into the scene. And so, everyone knows Tipsy, everyone knows Jaquan. It's one of those things, um, but I guess, now the music I play is kind of, I still play my 2000s. I love my 2000s music. Um, I play what people want to hear now, and not all that music is good music, unfortunately, a lot of it's mumble rap music that makes no sense whatsoever, but it's what people want to hear. And as a DJ, do you play what you want to play, or do you play for the crowd? And
Mm.
it's a little bit of both. I've worked at Oz nightclub for going on 11 years now. Um, so I guess I'm doing something right there.
Something right,
Um,
exactly. That
doing
always
something right.
confuses me for especially for people who are music, I guess, fanatics, really love music. Obviously, you got to really love music if you become a DJ and commit to like DJing for this many years. So like, has that been a challenge for you, having to like tend to the audience, but also like trying to balance it with your own interest and taste of what quote unquote real music is? Or do you really just identify and enjoy seeing the crowd happy, and that's what fulfills your bucket as a DJ? I don't know if you could touch on that a little bit, and then we'll transition to talking a little bit more about Alibi Cookies.
Sure, sure. It's a combination of all three of those, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, people that come to Oz on my nights when I DJ, they know Mike Evans. They know DJ Mike Evans. They know his music. They know what he plays. I don't necessarily play a lot of angry music. I play music that people get hyped to. I play 2000s music. I play a lot of twerk music, happy music. I like to see people jumping around and singing along to some songs. And it's a great, it's a balance between all three of those things. Um, every DJ wants to see the crowd jumping up and down, going crazy for whatever song they play, but you also have to tame the crowd as well. You don't want to, have a angry crowd of, 1,500 people angry, starting fights and, all this kind of stuff. So you got to be able to read the crowd, play songs when to know how to get out of them, in and out, things like that.
I respect it. I respect it. I love it. Well, I'll look forward to next time I'm in St. Louis, maybe popping out at a night where you're DJing. I haven't been to any clubs in St. Louis before, just popped into the city for connecting with a few people. So I look forward to making that happen and enjoying a night out under some DJ Mike Evans music. So I appreciate you sharing a little bit about that, man. I want to talk about the founding of Alibi Cookies. I hear there's a church kitchen involved.
Yeah.
I hear there's multiple locations involved. I hear there's
Yeah.
a vending machine and that's talked about a lot in the city. I hear
Yeah.
warm cookies. I hear delivery, pickup, 24/7. I hear a lot of good things, man. And
Yeah.
I've only known about you for a few weeks. So tell me, when the concept popped up at first, like what was that day? What was that moment? What was that hour? Like when did the concept of cookies, Alibi Cookies, the brand name, like why not opening up a Chinese takeout restaurant? Like what happened? What inspired this idea? Talk about the origin story, brother.
Oh man. So Alibi Cookies really came to me. So the warm cookie vending machine was first. It came to me in a dream. Um, and so it came to me in a dream. And then at the time I was DJing and I had the party bus and I was director of operations for a local food chain here in St. Louis. And I got tired of working for people, man. I was over it. I was over, being treated a certain way. Um, I love the brand, but I think that, the franchisees didn't really have an idea on how to really truly run a restaurant. And coming, from a guy who's spent his whole life in restaurants, that's there's a line, there's a bare minimum, um, and I still do, I still like them as people. um, but I quit in January 2020. I quit my job and I said, I'm just going to party bus and I'm just going to DJ. I was making a good living. And then of course the pandemic hit, and no one was booking party buses. All the nightclubs were closed, all the bars were closed, no one's booking anything. So I'm sitting at
Wow.
home, just burning through savings. And the idea of the warm cookie vending machine, I'm like, man, this is a Hail Mary. This is the time to do it. Um,
Let's pause right there though, man. A dream. It came to you in a dream. I need you to dive
yeah.
deeper into that a little bit, as much as you can. Like, what came to you in the dream? Was it a long dream, a short dream? Was it just the idea? Like, just talk about the dream a little bit more before you move on.
Gotcha. So I guess I was flipping through Facebook and I came across a post of Japan and they had a warehouse full of vending machines. I mean, you get absolutely anything, man. I mean, you can get fresh fruit, you can get drinks, you can get sushi, you can get dirty underwear. Like it's seriously, it's you can get anything out of a vending machine in Japan. And I've always had a love for cookies. Always had a love for cookies. And so I guess that combination of my love for cookies and the dream kind of inspired the idea for the warm cookie vending machine. Who doesn't enjoy a warm cookie? Crispy edges, soft center, warm deliciousness is what we call it here at Alibi. And I mean, I don't know who doesn't enjoy it. And then they're all individually wrapped, and it's like the perfect time, for COVID and the kind of stuff. So, but the dream was, it was a two-part dream. You know how you have a dream and you wake up and you use the bathroom, get some water, and you go back to sleep, and it seems like the dream just picks right back off where it left off
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
It was kind of like that, and it happened in two parts. The first part was me dreaming about the idea, and the second part is actually me like seeing my first visual of it, I would say, or what it might look like. And it wasn't ultimately what it is now, but it was very similar, based off what I've seen other vending machines look like, of course. So, but yeah, that was the dream. That was the dream.
And so we have to dive deeper into how you found this vending machine, because the videos I've seen of it, it looks pretty high tech, man. So did it start
It
off with the
is.
high tech vending machine? Like, was that the first? Like, you found that vending machine. Can you kind of talk
Mhm.
about shopping for the vending machine, finding it, sourcing it, getting it
Yeah.
ordered? Can you kind of just break down the technical aspect of that for other individuals who just might be interested in that? And then let's dive into like the tech of that machine. How does it stay warm? Why does it look so cool and sleek? Like, talk to me, man.
So the machine, first off, we sell the machines. You can order a machine from me. I have a cookie company in California that's placing an order for a warm cookie vending machine. And so we started that process, and we're going to get that out to them here in the next few months. So
Wow.
if you want one, you can just hit me up and order
Wow.
one. Be the easiest way. I cut all the bull crap out of it. Literally, I handle everything. Send me your money, I got you.
Yes,
um,
sir.
but the machine it's actually two different machines put together. I liked two different machines, and the machine originally was black, and I did not want just a plain Jane Pepsi black vending machine. I wanted something that commanded your respect. You look at it and you're like, wow, look at that thing. So it is 7 feet tall. It weighs 1,200 pounds. It's inch and a half of solid steel. Like it's
Dikembe
something that
Mutombo.
man, I'm telling you, like it's something that you have to look at. And, at night, it literally, and we have four machines now. It brightens up the street in front of it. It brightens up the street in front of you. I mean, you pass by and you look at it, and you're like, wow, what's this big white, machine says Alibi Cookies at the top of it. So I looked all over for a company that could do this for me. Of course, I searched in the US first, and everyone wanted, you know, ungodly amounts of money to do it. So I started looking in Japan and then China, and found a company, and literally no one speak English. It was crazy. So a lot of Google Translate between the both
Wow.
of us.
Was this through
And
message or phone calls, or was it like through WhatsApp? Like, how was what was the communication channel?
emails, WhatsApp, messages, a lot. I mean, I go back and sometimes look at the first communication I had, and we're talking like just pages and pages and pages and pages of just, going back and forth and back and forth. Um, so I told them this is what I want to look like. This is the spec. This is the kind of technology I want. And they said, okay. So they got back to me within 2 weeks, and they said, all right, this is what we think it should look like. And the first one was black. I said, no, has to be white. Has to be white. So they came back to me a couple days later with new rendering, and I was like, that is it. That's perfect. So we sourced all the parts and everything like that from various different other companies. And now, kind of jump fast forward, I'm their biggest US client now. They have a dedicated person that speaks English there for me now.
I love it.
The program they originally used, the software was all in Chinese. Now it's all in English. The web page to the back office is now has an English page. So it's like, they have saw the value in me to stock all of the product at the warehouse now. So the turnaround time on the machine, it's not 4 months anymore. It's like a month and a half or less than that,
Love it.
depending on shipping.
I love it.
The technology behind it, it's a very smart machine. It's very sensitive. All the machines have girl names. It wasn't my idea. My employees come up with most of the names.
I love it.
But all the machines are very sensitive. They have pressure sensors. They have visual sensors, all in it. It can tell me the temperature of it. It can send me an alarm and let me know when the temperature dips below a certain level, or if it's too high. The machine operates just like an HVAC unit. Once it
So
reaches a certain
the alarm
temperature, it's
when
off.
the temperature changes. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt because it's
Mhm.
fascinating.
Yeah,
So when it notifies you, is it through an app on the phone? Is it through an email? Like, what does that look like?
it's all three. It's an app, email, and text. I'm making sure that I get this message. I set it up that way because I mean you would ignore one, but you won't ignore three. So alarm goes off, lets me know, hey, temperature is within we call it a respect zone. So because we have respect for the cookies and we want to keep them warm. So it's either below a respect level or it's higher than respect level. The only way it goes higher than respect level if it's in direct sunlight, which we've had that problem at the St. Louis store because the machine faces west. So in the evening, we get all that direct sunlight that comes in the machine, which we don't need to. It holds heat really well. It really does hold heat extremely well. Um, but yeah, it sends me three. I get three separate messages, and then at that point, I can do one or two things. I can ignore it, or I can dial down the temperature a little bit. If I do nothing, the machine will actually take it upon itself to do something. Either it would terminate the heat altogether for a certain amount of time, or it will turn on the heater for a certain amount of time in order to reach temperature again.
Wow, 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 wow. I love it. I love it. That's really exciting. I didn't expect to hear all that, and I could dive into the unit for the rest of this conversation, but we'll try to move forward, man. So there's three ways to enjoy cookies. Talk to me about it.
Three ways to enjoy cookies, three ways to get Alibi cookies, or three ways to enjoy cookies in store? I mean, that's kind of a loaded question.
Hey, give me the answer to both of them. But yeah, three
All
way.
right, all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you can of course walk into any of our we're about to open up our fifth location here soon. So you can walk in any of our locations. You can get delivery. You can dine in. We have seating in all of our restaurants, or you can go to our warm cookie vending machines, which are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Same great warm cookie you get in store. Crispy edges, soft center, warm deliciousness. You get it in the vending machine. We literally fill the thing up every day, and we're on that machine on all the machines so much because we want to ensure the experience is exactly the same as you would entering a store. That's the whole focal point about the machine.
I love that. I love that. And I'm excited for you to. I don't know if it's ever in the plans, but I'm excited for you to expand to Kansas City, man. Because
I want
I
to, but
experience I
you got insomnia
experience.
there already.
Yeah, we got crumble cookies, we got
Yeah,
insomnia cookies, but
yeah,
I just like I like these vending machines. That's what I like, man.
yeah.
That shit is exciting, man. I literally have never heard of something like that. I've heard of, in Japan they get really unique with the types of products they
They
serve
do.
in vending machines, and I know that's a thing in Japan, but we're slow to catch up here in the States. And I'm
Very,
happy to
very.
hear that you're on top of that, and I'm happy to hear it's happening here in Missouri, man. Like there's a show, we're the show me state for a reason, so you're probably going to see a lot of
Sure.
copycats after this, but I'm sure that doesn't mind you too much because you're the source of inspiration. So, and also, you mentioned that people can purchase the vending machines from you. They can tap in with you.
Mhm.
Can you dive into a little bit more about that? Maybe share the contact information of how they get a hold of you. Maybe share what that
Yeah.
process kind of looks like, just so they have an understanding. And is this profitable if somebody buys a vending machine and they decide to put cookies in it in Cincinnati? Like, talk about, do you think it's a good idea, not a good idea? Let's touch on that real quick.
So we have what's called a partner program, which you purchase the machine, we retain a royalty percentage of sales, um, similar to a franchise, only dummy down a whole lot simpler process, not as expensive, less red tape. Um, so they buy the machine, we're partners in it. they get 90% of sales. I get 10% of sales. They buy all the product from me. We ship it to them within 1 day or less. If it's drivable, we'll just drive it to them, or they can come pick it up. One of the two. The other two is it's a license. They can buy a license from me, which is similar to the first program, to the partner program, where they license the machine from me. They purchase the machine and they pay for a license, let it be, monthly or yearly, totally up to them. But I get that money. The process of getting one is first, I tell people location is probably the most important and it's the hardest part. Ordering the machine is easy. Literally, once you wire me the money or cut me a check, I immediately call the builder, tell them, hey, I need an Alibi Cookies standard machine. If it's a partner program, it'll be wrapped in Alibi Cookies graphics. If it's, like the gentleman in LA that's getting ready to get this machine, it'll be wrapped in his company's logo. I'll send them the artwork, they get it wrapped, and then I'd say not the nervous, but the exciting part happens is the waiting game. They can build me a machine now in a week, but shipping is, we're shipping a 1,300-pound crate halfway across the world. There are lots of things that happen. And, I have a machine that's tied up in customs right now. They have to completely open it up, look in it.
Wow.
I've been to the port of LA millions of times. Well, not millions of times, but a bunch of times with the same package, and sometimes it gets red flagged. So, that pushes it back a few weeks, or, a ship gets stuck, that happens. So that pushed back the machine 2 months. So shipping is the most it takes the longest. Everything else, it's easy peasy. I take care of all the import fees and all that kind of stuff. It's really streamlined. I make it really easy for you to get a machine. Contact information, Mike at alibicookies.com. ALIBI, just it's like that. Oh, point another way. There we go. Yeah, just email me, Mike at alibicookies.com or info at alibicookies.com. Send an inquiry. Again, just location is always, I tell people, it's the hardest part. Unless you have a location already picked out, then it's just ordering the machine.
I love that. And I feel like individuals who might be listening right now that might have a vending machine business already in terms of snacks, this might be a area of vending machines that you guys could test out, a new add-on to your business. You already know
Sure.
locations, you already have relationships in your city. This might be another opportunity to explore a different avenue of building on top of your vending machine business. So ladies and gentlemen, anybody out there who's interested in that, tap in with my guy Mike. I love that. That's exciting. So I'm gonna ask you two final questions, brother, because I could ask you questions forever. There's
I got time. I'm good. I got workers that just showed up. We got staff here. We're good.
God bless. God bless. So I do want to touch on staff, man, and I want to touch on business acumen. So can you kind of touch, number one, on how you've been able to develop your business acumen? How have you learned how to run and operate multiple stores, multiple aspects of a business? Like you said, there's 3 ways to get cookies. That requires 3 different types of operations at the end of the day. How do you develop these systems? Like, did you learn from your dad, learn from your mom? Has it just been learning every day as an entrepreneur? Did you take a course? Like, talk to us about your business acumen and how you've been able to develop and grow mentally in that space.
All my experience comes from managing other people's businesses. Literally, I mean, that's where it comes from. Trial and error,
Major key.
learning. Yeah, learning what the mistakes they made and learning what they did right. Which I use in my experience with Alibi Cookies. I use a model called rapid growth model, meaning that I still drive my Toyota RAV4, still live in the same apartment I've lived in for the past 10 years. I haven't bought a house, haven't bought a, $80,000 Escalator or anything like that. I literally take all the money and I put it right back into the business, all the profits. So, sometimes I do operate in the red, but it's because I've taken all the money and I've spent it. Essentially, all the money I've made, I spend to grow the business more. But you have to have certain systems and certain disciplines in place in order to operate a multi-unit company. There's a lot that can go wrong very quickly. And there's a lot that can go right, But all my experience is coming from managing other people's business. I did not take the course, and some of the stuff that I guess a lot of stuff I just threw against the wall and see if it was going to stick or not. I know what other cookie companies are doing. And I know what we're really good at. I want to be different. Alibi Cookies is different. We come up with some of the most craziest cookie idea. We do cookie donuts, man, which is it blows people's minds still. And you can order them, like you can legit order them. Cookie cupcakes, our sheet cakes, our heart-shaped cookie cakes, our, things that, our shakes, we sell a crap ton of shakes, man. It's crazy. The colder the weather, the more shakes we sell, you know. Um, so the experience comes from managing other people's business and throwing stuff against the wall and see if it sticks. Again, school is not for everybody. An expensive piece of paper probably could not have taught me all the real world experience, rather than just sitting in the classroom listening to a professor tell me on how to run a business, than me just experiencing myself. And I say this to a lot of people who ask me, like, I said, colleges teach you how to be managers. They don't teach you how to be owners. They teach you how to manage businesses. They teach you to go out and get a job and work for someone else. But they don't teach you how to be an owner, how to actually run a business from an owner's perspective. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of, mom and pop businesses. So I was exposed to a whole lot more than I would, working for a major corporation. Yeah, all my experience just comes from, working for other people. And when I finally got my business, throwing stuff against the wall that, and seeing what sticks. And now that about to open my 5th location, I have what's called a cookie cutter concept. No pun intended, or, whatever pun intended. So, I know what works and what doesn't work now. So I can take my, my cookie cutter and I can just, make multiple stores now. It's really easy. It doesn't take a lot for me to open a location anymore. The first one was hard. Second one was a little easier. Third one, I'm like, fourth, fifth, I'm like, all right, yeah, I can probably have somebody else do the opening and I can probably sit this one out, which I probably won't because I'm just not that type of owner. But yeah,
yeah, that makes me want to. That kind of dives into some of my next questions, but we'll try to simplify it down. Obviously running multiple locations, again, having delivery, pickups, having the machines, and then also having the other aspect of being able to get machines for other business owners and the licensing aspect. There's so many things going on. What systems or softwares have helped you scale or manage your business? So that can be, you can answer that in whatever way you want, but 2 ways, maybe like a mental model that you utilize, like, okay, if this happens, then I do this, and then this person picks up the phone if this happens. Like, what systems, or has there been a software, like, I don't know, just this doesn't have anything to do with your business, but like ShipStation for t-shirt companies or something like that helps them automate their system. So talk about, maybe a system, platform, software that's been able to help you manage and grow Alibi Cookies.
Gotcha. So for shipping, we use a company called Shippo, and that's all they do is print labels for us. We found out going to the post office and dealing directly with them, postage is expensive. It's expensive to ship a box of cookies, So Shippo gives us a big discount on postage, and we still use the post office because we get free boxes from the post office. So I take full advantage of that. And in the beginning, we were absorbing a lot of shipping costs, and then we started pushing that onto the customer. And so we charge a standard fee to deliver any of the 50 states and Canada. We just recently added Canada to the mix now.
Wow.
So we're now, I guess, shipping international, and it was pretty exciting to see that first Canada order to come through.
I love it.
It was awesome. As far as delivery goes, so we actually don't have any physical delivery drivers in stores. We utilize third party like DoorDash and Uber Eats. We found that helps our bottom line a whole lot more than, say we have a sucky day and, we got a delivery driver who's been sitting here all day. He or she is not happy. They're not making any money. And, we've had to pay this delivery driver, X amount of dollars an hour. So it helps keep labor low. just by, exporting that to someone else. And it's better. I'm just being perfectly honest with you. It's better that way. In-store staffing, knock on wood, we haven't had a huge problem like some other restaurants have had. But that's a combination of a lot of things. Like me personally, I am in stores. I work with my staff. I'm not one of those removed owners that sit up in their ivory tower and count their money, or sit in the office and push around, push pins all day. I'm in the store. I'm making cookies. I'm cleaning. I plunged a toilet just 30 minutes ago. Nothing is above me. Nothing's beneath me. I take out trash. I do whatever I need to do. My staff, they're more welcome to eat as many cookies as they like, and when they're not at work, they get a 50% discount. I have Christmas parties every year. I give bonuses out. Um, I treat my staff with respect. I don't yell or scream at them. And, that, we've had some serious talks where I'm stern with them, but I don't need to call them out their name and, disrespect them. I feel like that does not get me far with my staff. And so now I got a happy staff that tells other people and say, hey, I work at this amazing cookie shop. The owner is amazing. Like, these are all the benefits that we have. And so now, like, it's just word of mouth, and now I have a surplus. I have applications I still can probably pull and hire people. Um, but that I found helps me keep staff. It's just a whole respect model. I don't yell, I don't scream. I've had plenty of my past employers yell and scream at me, and it definitely pissed me off and made me not want to work there anymore. Hence
Right.
why I work
You
for
not.
myself now.
I respect it.
So,
I respect
but
it. That
there's
makes a
no
lot of sense.
software that helps me manage this other than, we have a POS, which, manages all the numbers aspect of it. And everything integrates into that, meaning like our shipping, um, and our delivery and our in-store all integrates into our POS system. So that definitely helps. I'm kind of old school. I still use Excel sheets. I'm pretty good with Microsoft Office. So all of my locations, they submit to me, the store managers submit to me a weekly operating report, has all the numbers and inventory and all that good stuff. And it calculates itself. And from that, then I can know what my cost of goods are and all that kind of stuff like that. So it's a very simple process. I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to make sure that my managers wasn't spending hours and hours and hours counting inventory. And, I need them in front of customers. I don't need them back in the office doing paperwork. Um, they're more valuable to me being in front of the customers and making sure the cookie quality is great and smiling and answering the phone. I need all of that. I don't need them in the office. And every person that I hire, we don't have like specific positions. Everyone's a team member or a manager. That's it. The only two
I
positions I
love it.
have.
I love it.
So I hate when people say that's not my job. It eats my soul. Man, it eats my soul. That's not my job. Ah,
Why'd you have to say
jeez.
it?
I'm telling you,
Nah,
man, like it eats my soul. So none of my employees actually say that because everyone does the same exact job. Everybody does,
I
including
love it.
me.
That's true. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to ask you, I know I said two final questions. Now I'm about to ask you two final
You're
questions
fine.
again.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
So I want to know, you know, what does success as a business owner look like for you? I feel like most entrepreneurs coming up right now are people who want to become entrepreneurs are all about, oh, time, freedom, chilling, hanging out. Like I just want to be able to designate, allocate all this work to the employees, push it
Yeah.
off, hire VAs so that I can be free and just let the cash flow come in. But obviously, you like to be in the field, you like to be in the trenches
Yeah.
working. And then on the flip side of that, if it's not that, they're like, I want to stack as much money as I can and get all this flashy stuff and fly private jets and this and that. And you
Yeah.
just said that you take all your money and put it back into the business. So, you
Yeah.
know, just for those who might be struggling to understand what your, you know, motivation, your purpose around business ownership is, can you kind of share that with the people before we sign out of here? I feel like that would be
Yeah.
something people are interested in hearing.
Well, I love what I do. That's number one. When you love what you do, it's not a job. You enjoy coming to work. Everyone has those days where they lay in bed and they look at the ceiling like, I just don't feel like it today. Everyone has it. We're human. We all do that. But if you love what you do, then you want it to be successful, and you want it to grow. I guess being on the beach and not doing anything is that I would call that's end game. That's retirement for me. Um, but my the success I want, I want to open 9 stores this year. 9 stores. That is my goal. To open 9 additional stores this year. Um, Success looks for me, having 100+ locations, continuing to grow.
Mhm.
That's what it looks like for me. And at that point, then I can, take a steady paycheck or something like that. I kind of like take it easy. Yes, as you grow, you would need to hire more people to help you manage the business. That's what you have to do. In turn, I can concentrate on one area of the company instead of focusing on all 20 areas. My thing is growth. I do have a marketing team now. I have a director of marketing and training, and there's someone underneath her to help manage all the marketing and all the pictures and all the posters. I used to do all that stuff. All the posters and everything I designed. I don't have a graphic. I never took a graphic design course. I'm not a graphic designer by no means. I am not an engineer, but I'll tell you what, I designed all of my logos. I designed all of my menus. I designed a machine. I did all of that just off experience with other people and downloading software like Canva. We paid for Canva. It's really easy to do. Some guy wanted, $3,000 to design my menu. And I designed my menu for free for $29.99 with Canva, but I
Damn near
designed it
free,
for
a
free.
dollar a day.
Man, went to Office Depot and got it printed out for $100, and that was it. I was done with it. So I mean, everyone has their own, version of what success is. Mine is seeing my company grow, seeing my employees, want to stick around, grow with the company, make more money, uh, be in elevated positions. That's what success is for me, man. I'm a really humble guy. I have dreams of owning a Lamborghini, man. My friend Ken has a Lamborghini, and I actually sat in it. It was only my second time ever sitting in a Lamborghini in my life, and we went to Ballpark Village here in St. Louis and had some drinks and stuff. But he has a Lamborghini. I want one. And if God willing, I make a good amount of money, and the company is healthy. Yeah, I would love to purchase a Lamborghini. But I don't need a 10 bedroom, 10 bathroom house. I don't need 15 cars. That's
That's not
just
what
not
you're
me.
working towards. You love what you do. You have business growth motivations because you love what you do and you want more people to experience it. That's what I'm hearing from you, is like you just
Yep.
really love what you've built and you want it to be spread at scale and more people to be exposed to what you've built because you enjoy it, you love it, you're passionate about the story behind it. And then if the sprinkles on top are a Lamborghini and a decent house and a few trips a year with the family, then cool. But
Yep.
that's not what you're in it for. And I love that. I think that's a great place to work from, because once we acquire those things, we realize, oh shit, all right, it's been 30 days having this Lamborghini. I'm used to it now. You know what I'm saying? But when you really love your business, just like, all right, let's go. I want to see my people. I want to go kick it with my staff. I want to go,
Yep.
connect with my people. So I really love that, man. I've really enjoyed this conversation more than I expected to. And I hope that doesn't sound bad, but I really am surprised by how amazing this business of cookies is, man. Like
It's
it's
a journey,
exciting,
man.
bro. I'm excited, dog. Like I don't know why I'm so excited, but it's because this conversation really outdid my expectations, and I'm sure
Yeah.
the listeners are going to really enjoy this. And with that being said, brother, I want to ask you, it's your last day on earth. I want you to think about this. You've lived to 120 years old. You've had great grandkids. You've had a family. You've built, over 100 locations. You've done everything you wanted to. You've sat in a Lamborghini for the third time. A lot of great things have happened, but
Yeah.
it's your final day, and your great great grandkids are sitting at your feet, and they ask you, great great grandpa Mike, give me one piece of advice on how to live a fulfilled life, a fulfilling life. What are you going to tell them? This is the last thing they're going to remember you for. What are you going to tell them?
Live your life to the fullest. Make decisions, learn from them, and move on. That's
Mm.
really it. If this was easy, everyone on earth would be billionaires. Everyone would have their own business. But it's not. We all have bad days. We all have those days we want to give up. But I just don't give up. Can't give up. You know, do everything you can to ensure that your dream comes true. I mean, that's pretty much what I would say.
I love it. I love it. Mike Evans, man. Share with the audience, the listeners, where they can find you, how they can support the business, and how we can
Sorry,
continue
my
growing.
brother just walked in. He's goofy. This is my brother. He's the general manager of the St. Charles location.
There we go.
Where
What's up, brother, man?
How you doing? How you doing?
Blessed.
So we have 3 locations open currently. One in Dogtown by the zoos at 1136 Tam Avenue. Sits on the corner of Tam Avenue and Clayton Road. Our second location, in order how they open, is our Jefferson City location, Capitol. It sits at 222 East High Street, 2 blocks from the Capitol. Our third location is St. Charles, Missouri, on Main Street, 125 North Main Street. In St. Charles, we are really in the middle of Main Street, closest to all the bars like Q Central and I was about to say Uncle Joe's closed. The honky tonk is down there and stuff like that just opened up. Our fourth location is downtown St. Louis. It should be opening up next month, pushed it to March. And then our fifth location, we're going to be opening up in the St. Louis Premium Outlet Mall with all the fancy stores, Gucci and all the rest of them. We're going to be opening up in the food court here in the February.
I love it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, he just gave you the locations to go and support Alibi Cookies. Mike Evans, as you heard here, this is a real down-to-earth owner out here looking after his people, hustling, has a real true purpose, and we appreciate that here on the Voices of Value podcast. So Mike Evans, thank you for your time today. Is there any final words that you'd like to share with the people?
Yeah, I say it again. If you're a struggling business owner, just don't give up. Just don't give up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, leave a 5-star review, as that is the only way we can grow. Kyle Stutzer, Voices of Value. That's it.